Hello, so today I thought I'd share a Necron build which I feel is actually quite powerful and which uses the item which no one seems to like or use, which is the Tachyon Diadem, giving you the Tachyon Arrow. So the aim of this build revolves around some high energy regeneration, the Tachyon Arrow to snipe enemies from a distance, and shortened ability cooldowns. So many people think that the Tachyon Arrow is pretty rubbish. It has a long cooldown, only uses a little bit of energy, but basically doesn't do much. Has extremely long range, but I think it's actually extremely useful if you combine it with these items that I'll show you, which is the Glyph of the Tireless Harvest. This gives you the trait Awoken, which significantly reduces your ability times. The Tachyon Arrow normally has an ability time of about 3 seconds or something. If you put on this, it goes to 0, so you can spam it and just basically have no recharge time on it, as well as the Glyph of the Star Gods for more energy regeneration. This bump yours up to 2.7, meaning you'll basically never run out of energy no matter how many times you spam the Tachyon Arrow. So these sort of 3 items here are the core of the build. You'll want the Glyph of Living Metal. Basically, I think you should never take this off the Necron character. 90 health, 3 health regeneration is extremely powerful. For your two-handed weapon, I like to equip the Lance of Annihilation. This gives you more health regen. It's a good ranged weapon, and gives you the Annihilation barrage, which can annihilate like an entire squad. In combined with the Glyph of the Star Gods and Glyph of the Tireless Harvest, this gives you lower recharge on it as well as higher energy regeneration, so you can basically use these abilities with no penalty at all. And plus, with this ranged weapon, you can just be a ranged character. You can alternate between shooting the lance and the Tachyon Arrow, and both of these together will give you a higher DPS than just using the lance normally. This is a strong weapon, but combined with the Tachyon Arrow, it becomes even greater. You can also use the War Scythe of Extinction here. What this does is gives you energy regeneration, so it gives you +1 energy regeneration. You don't need 3.7, so you can take the Glyph that's the Tireless Harvest, which gives you the more energy regeneration. You can take that off for the Gift of the Reclaimer, which is that one which can, you know, suck a whole squad dry of health and improve your health regeneration, and gives you this necrotic barrier as well, which is good for sort of locking enemies in spawn, and sort of keeping them away from your teammates. So I like this build as well. This actually works quite well. So you sort of stay ranged with the Tachyon Arrow until enemies come close, then you can use the Mortar Reclamation, as well as just, you know, standard mealing them to death. So pretty good builds, to be honest. I do like them. So I'll show you this one first. Let's see if we can get in a match here. For your other ability, you can use the Labyrinth of the Nightbringer, which will generally, you know, summon the Nightbringer to do more damage. The other armor people often use is the one that gives you the Combat Expert, 30% more melee and range damage, extremely powerful. I think that does stack with the Nightbringer power, so if you use the Tachyon Arrow, your Nightbringer will do less damage, which I suppose is one reason to use the Tesseract Orb. The Tesseract Orb, it gives you more armor as well. Granted, you don't have as much armor as you would with the Diadem and the Nemesis, for example, but you have, you know, extremely high health regeneration. In some ways, having that extra armor is overkill in a way. I don't think you entirely need it. So yeah, I mean, there are other kind of builds you can do. You could use one of the other ranged weapons, but I personally think they're not really very good. Staff of the Fair One is good as a kind of DPS weapon. It does do some decent damage against sort of light infantry, heavy, you know, dreadnoughts and things, but not. I think I prefer the Lance of the Annihilation because you have the Annihilation barrage ability, which is extremely powerful. Okay, so we're going to get in a game here, and I'll show off kind of what you want to do. The Tachyon Arrow just has a ridiculous range. It's extremely long-ranged and powerful, so it really does come in handy for sort of sniping enemies, helping your teammates out just across the entire map. I like to play Anvil of Khorne. You can do the Bloody Colosseum as well. That will sort of take advantage more of the range. But I just think the map isn't as fun. People are often a bit surprised at this build. They didn't think that the Tachyon Arrow can be any good. But it really is quite powerful, to be honest, and I'll show you. It can one-shot Space Marines, one-shot Tyranid Warriors, Raveners, and does decent damage to vehicles and things as well. Not as much as you would in melee, but ranged is still a very good build for the Necron Lord. Because he's so slow, you don't want to really be walking into melee range all the time, which is why I like this kind of range build. So this is the Annihilation barrage here. It's pretty good for cleaning out infantry. So here's how you use the Tachyon Arrow. So just get into normal shooting range and use the Tachyon Arrow, wait to shoot again, press Q, use the Tachyon Arrow again, normal shot, and then another Tachyon Arrow. And you can see I haven't used any energy regen at all, and the ability's just up instantly, whereas normally it would take a few seconds to use. So if I can see some enemies, I'm a bit far away to use Tachyon Arrow. It's not going to be any good. So when I move my arm out in that sort of crossbow thing, that's when I use the Tachyon Arrow. So I can see those Banshees all the way over there, and just sort of rapid fire on them with the crossbow. Not sure if it'll kill a Wraith Lord in one shot. No. 2 shots each for a Wraith Knight. And also it can be used in melee range as well, which is why I like it quite a lot. It's good for, you know, hitting enemies in melee. Because your melee range is quite slow, so anything that's sort of above your standard melee amount is going to be quite useful. You can see the tracking is just very good on that as well. Yeah, so the range really does help. You can stay at a big distance and just sort of snipe things across the entire map, really. Annihilate whole infantry squads with the thing. Use the Tachyon Arrow on the Raveners, one-shot them. I mean, you're sort of like a Tau commander in a way. And so, look, you alternate between melee hits plus the Tachyon Arrow here. And you can take care of infantry without needing the melee weapon, designated melee weapon, or the, you know, or one of the drain ability. So you want to basically just wait till you fire a normal shot from your rifle, and then use the Tachyon Arrow right after that. That's how you get the sort of highest DPS per second. You can see I'm just sort of sniping orcs here, which is okay, and then, you know, just clear out an entire squad. And if I were a melee Chaos Lord, a melee Necron, I'd be walking around the entire time trying to kill these people. So being ranged is actually extremely useful to be able to do this. So I'm going to help out the Hive Tyrant here, just get that knob off him. So you're just sort of spamming Q all the time, really, but you are actually quite powerful. And you have just extremely low recharge times on all your abilities. You can see there I'll have that Annihilation barrage up in a second, which can, you know, kill an entire squad. So it's really, really good. So yeah, you're really, really effective against, you know, sort of heavy infantry kind of things. I'm gonna just use that there, the Nightbringer, bring him down on those infantry. So it pretty much like doubles the DPS that you would do from normal shooting, because the normal recharge time of the sort of lance you have is quite long. So it really helps being able to sort of shorten that recharge time. Plus you can just keep a ridiculous distance from enemies, just be, you know, in the center of the map here, and, you know, one-shotting, well not one-shotting, but, you know, really damaging some, you know, Tyrant Guard over here. Just, you know, take out some warriors. Easy, easy peasy. So I can pretty much just hit the warriors across the entire map here. You know, which is really going to help out that Space Marine captain. If I was a melee Necron Lord, you know, what would I do? I'd have to, you know, walk over there. That would take, you know, pretty much forever. So I'm going to get into shooting range with my thing here. Use the shot. Tachyon Arrow. Use the shot. Tachyon Arrow. Dead. And this will, like, one-shot kill Space Marines as well, which is, you know, extremely powerful too. You know, so my standard rifle doesn't even one-shot a Space Marine, so it's more powerful than the actual ranged weapon I'm using, the Tachyon Arrow. So having it on a 0 recharge time is extremely good. This one on these guys here. It's nice, kill the whole squad. Two-shot the Chimera there, that's quite powerful. So you basically just want to use the ability as much as possible, pretty much. You'll really do some damage with it. So I think I do prefer this build to kind of the standard melee Necron Lord. You know, you're very up in everyone's face with that. You lose a lot of health through melee. You can kite enemies with this. You know, you still have a strong melee weapon. Your DPS is not actually that low, because you have the Tachyon Arrow in close combat, which actually does, you know, a substantial amount of damage. Plus, you can, you know, annihilate whole squads at distance. I think it really is actually quite a strong build, and I'm surprised when I kind of made it as a joke, just have the Tachyon Arrow at extremely low recharge time. But I mean, yeah, you can handle infantry with this. You can handle, you know, heavies with this. You can handle tanks with the nightbringer. If you want to sort of just stun enemies, you can. So just spam your abilities. You know, it doesn't really matter. I listed that, but. So yeah, if I was a melee, it would take me so long to walk over to that tank. Meanwhile, I'm just sniping it from down here and doing pretty decent damage to it as well. Just take out, you know, an entire squad and a half with infantry as well. See how long it takes me to take out this dreadnought. It's taking a while. It would certainly take a short amount of time in melee combat, I guess. Oh, Terran's having some trouble there. So yeah, definitely not the standard build that you'll see people use, but in my opinion, very, very strong. That's what was going to be a problem. There we go, dead. So yeah, little infantry you kind of have to worry about since you don't have a proper, you know, kind of counter to them, which is, you know, a little bit annoying. I like the Lance of Annihilation because it'll, you know, do decent damage. You get that Annihilation barrage ability to clear any infantry squads quite well, and it does decent damage to vehicles and, you know, sort of heavies if you hit them directly. So I'm pretty sure this is actually one of the strongest builds for the Necron Lord. If you really hate the Lance of Annihilation, sorry, the Tachyon Arrow, just replace it with, you know, the melee, the Combat Master item. That's, you know, fairly strong. I'm gonna save my Annihilation barrage for the next wave, whatever that is. Sure. You can be suppressed, I think, as a Necron. Ooh, apparently not. I'll two-shot this. Pretty strong. I think because the Necron Lord's so slow, that's why he doesn't work in melee quite that well. So I think shooting is actually a pretty decent build on him. I'm going to move here, otherwise I'll get... Oh, that's bad. That turns down. No matter. Got the nightbringer over here, doing some decent damage. CC.
Wipe our enemies away.
Ooh, I gotta move it. Ah, that's not good. Oh, almost died there. And you can see with the energy regen, I'm basically never sort of unable to use abilities or anything, which is really strong. I think your DPS is sort of a little lower than like a Tau Commander with the plasma guns, but still like fairly decent. Yeah, like killing Chaos Demons pretty quick is pretty good. Yeah, missed him there. That's not good. Sometimes the crossbow kind of bugs. It is a little buggy at points. Our spaceman going down is not good. That's not good. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's those rounds. I think we did a decent job. So yeah, I got most kills on that round. Ordinarily, I think for an Necron Lord, you'd probably get a decent amount of kills. But yeah, like it's a fine build as far as I'm concerned, and it really does you know, quite a bit of range damage. So I hope you try it out. Hope you enjoy it. I'll just show you the build one more time. So got the Lance of Annihilation, that gives you that Annihilation barrage ability on a quick recharge. Tachyon Arrow, just 0 recharge time, infinitely spammable, never run out of energy. Glyph of Tireless Harvest, Glyph of Living Metal, Glyph of the Star Gods, and for the last one you can bring the Nightbringer or the Tesseract Tomb. I wouldn't generally recommend the Resurrection Orb. Don't feel it's as good, although it would have come in handy there, certainly. But yeah, that's the build. Hope you guys enjoy.